Hi guys, this is Becca here, and today I'm with my boyfriend Ryan.
Hey guys.
And we're going to answer some questions we've got from friends and family and from just people who follow us online about what the IVF process is like as a trans couple and particular challenges that we face. Okay, so let's start off with the first question. This one I got from Reddit, and the question is, where are you guys located? So I'm an American expat, and we're living in Sweden.
We're living in Stockholm right now, and I am from Sweden. Becca moved out here to be with me.
That's an important question as well, because some of our answers and some particular challenges we face may be specific to Sweden versus how it works in America or other countries. So that's a good question to start out with, actually. So the next question is, since your boyfriend is female to male, are you going to be using his eggs in you?
No, we're not.
It is something we talked about, but there's just some challenges both from like the Sweden perspective, and Ryan has some like medications he's on that would not be good for egg quality, for example. So there's that challenge we'd have to overcome. Plus, there's very few clinics in Sweden that allow a gay couple or even maybe a heterosexual couple who need both a donor egg and a donor sperm to get both. You can usually do one or the other, but if you need both, you're kind of screwed. So then if you do find a clinic that does it, it could be far away, but the cost is a lot higher too. It would be an extra like $10,000 to $15,000 per try or something. So yeah, no, we're using hopefully my eggs if everything works. If it does, it's definitely my egg. Otherwise, we're probably adopting, and some donor sperm.
Yeah, and the donor sperm, at least how it works here in Sweden, is that they match it based off the father. So in this case, we're having an Asian donor.
Have you guys experienced any discrimination or harassment as a result of your status as an LGBTQ couple? I don't think we've experienced discrimination or harassment particularly. I would say that you are misgendered a lot in medical settings.
Yeah.
And even when he's not at appointments, I have to go to a lot myself because of COVID right now. I'm constantly having to correct doctors and nurses on his preferred name and his preferred pronouns, which is annoying because you think they would just note it in the journal and just take 5 minutes to look at it before they came and talked to us.
Yeah, we said it the first time we met the doctor, so
many times since.
They know about it.
Yeah. The good news, I guess, is, well, sort of good news. We're probably using two different clinic types, like personal or private and the public health system. The private health system has been really understanding and super good about, well, the doctor, about your trans status. She immediately asked what your preferred name and preferred pronouns were, and she's been awesome. Part of Sweden's process for getting accepted into IVF is that you have to do couples counseling first, and that's a law.
It's not really couples counseling, it's a social psychoanalysis
evaluation thing.
Yeah,
it's not really counseling. It's seeing if you're like not a serial killer who's trying to have a baby, I guess.
No, it's more like your financial situation, if you can take care of a child, if you have friends and family, a support net.
Yeah, which is also annoying because heterosexual couples who are just trying to have a baby don't have to like go through some social interview process first to see if they're good parents, but that's a whole nother subject. So what was I saying? Yeah, in the public health system, I think the interview person, the lady, I don't know what her name, like a counselor.
Yeah.
The counselor was also super understanding about Ryan's status as a trans man.
I also think it might be a generational thing because she was younger.
That's true. The other lady was not so much.
No.
Yeah, you wanna.
Yeah, we also went through the counseling session through the private clinic, and we had an older lady. Is that
Yeah.
correct way to
The
describe
boomer
her?
generation.
And she was supposed to evaluate us as a couple, whether we are suitable to become parents. But she focused a lot on me being trans instead. Like, when I started noticing I was not feeling comfortable in my body, and like how long and how it is expressed and stuff like that. She was basically only talking to me the entire
I was
session.
ignored the entire time. And you were both talking in Swedish, so I could kind of pick up that she was asking a lot about trans stuff, but my Swedish isn't it wasn't great then. It's still not great now. It's better. I could probably pick up a little bit more, but
Yeah.
I really was just like kind of just sitting there like a decorative plant during the entire process.
Yeah, that was also a difference. That she wasn't comfortable in English to have that interview with us, versus the public sector where we had the younger woman, and she had no problems at all speaking English to us the entire time.
Yeah. That's a little bit of a challenge, like probably a different topic I face here just as an expat in Sweden is everybody usually like under 45, 50 is really good at English. Most people aren't confident in their English and they prefer to speak in Swedish, even though you guys are really great at it. But my Swedish is terrible. So a lot of the time, there's just like a little bit of a language barrier to try and overcome. And when that's around medical issues and I have a lot of anxiety in medical settings, it kind of adds another level of anxiety because I'm like, what are they talking about? I don't know what they're saying. And sometimes they don't know the correct translation for some things in IVF related processes.
Yeah, but also you look very Swedish, so people assume you are
Yeah,
Swedish.
that's the thing too, is people will automatically, like a lot of the times because they're racist, not really, I don't know, they'll come to me and start speaking to me in Swedish. A lot of the times they'll speak to you in English.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
I usually answer when they ask me if I speak English. I usually say yes, and Swedish too, in Swedish, and then they usually get flustered and goes away.
But yes in Swedish is the same as in English. It's like yeah.
No, you say yes and Swedish too.
Ja, och svenska också.
Yeah, nice job.
Awesome, learning. Okay, so that was a sidebar. Sorry, guys. So, other questions that people have asked us. Let's see what's next. Okay, so the next question. Because you two are trans and Ryan may change his name, which you have done already, actually, do you foresee any problems with having both of your names on the birth certificate? That's a really good question.
Yeah.
So yeah, as we just mentioned, Ryan, actually, this is like your first week legally as Ryan.
Yeah, I got my new papers earlier this week, and today I got to update my driver's license. So,
Yay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But then as far as the birth certificate, it's not. It's hard to answer. Like if you go through the required like protocols within either the public or private health system, and Ryan signs the necessary forms agreeing that I am the father, I'm aware of this process.
I am the father.
I know, that's what I'm saying. The form says I am the father.
Oh.
It's not, I didn't mean to say I'm the father, you guys. But yeah, if he signs those forms, and he actually has to sign a form and show his identification and everything every time I have a procedure done. Like, it's not just, oh, do it once at the beginning and we're going to assume that it's good each time. So every time I go in, they have to make sure, like, we didn't, I don't know, break up and I'm just going rogue without you.
Yeah.
Who knows? But so unless we do that and they have a documented signature every time that they can trace back to the not insemination, but the like conception date, then it won't be a problem. But if we were to do anything like at home insemination, which is just a huge problem here anyway, because unlike the US, you can't just like order sperm to your house and do it yourself.
You can do that
in the US?
Yeah.
Yeah. You just go to an online sperm bank and you're like, we like this person, and send it home. They send you a big like freeze tank thing, I think. I've never done it, but I've seen pictures.
You never done it?
I've never done it. But yeah, in the US, you can just order sperm and do at-home insemination. But here, you can't do that. And if you found maybe a way to do that, maybe ordering it foreign sperm, like outside of the country delivered, I think it would get stopped at customs. But even if you were able to get it, there would just be a huge issue. They wouldn't put your name on the birth certificate in that case.
No, Sweden will track down the father in every case. And since the technology is so advanced now, they can match the DNA pretty easily to the right person. So, and there's no way for me to get my name on the birth certificate or become the legal father unless I adopt the child.
Which is a lengthy court process.
Yeah.
And I'm sure no donor wants to go through that either. So it just makes it harder. So the next question isn't necessarily related to trans struggles, but I mean, it's interesting to know more about us. So how long have you guys been trying to conceive?
Well, we were actually talking about having a baby before we even moved in together.
Yeah, just to kind of set like if this is something we are serious about doing, because I am older, so my clock is ticking, and it's just kind of like I wanted to make him aware that like, hey, if we're gonna be together, like this is something I'm gonna want to do sooner rather than later. I have a history of recurrent losses from a previous relationship, so that's something that I wanted him to like be aware of going into things, and just make sure we discuss like we're on the same page as far as like where we were as far as wanting a family. But we've been together
3 years.
3 years.
But we were long distance for
About a year and a half.
about a year, yeah.
Yeah, about a year and a half, because of the whole I'm American thing. Makes things a little bit harder. And we've been actively trying for, it's a little hard, so maybe a year.
Yeah, we applied.
Yeah, there's the whole application process.
Yeah, I think we applied pretty early after you moved to Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
At least to the public sector, because the public sector has a
Long
queue,
Yeah.
pretty long queue. The private accepted us or like received us really early.
Mm-hmm.
It only took like a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
or something like that. But we've been trying. We started with the IUIs this fall.
Yeah, I think too it took a little while to even start the IUIs because one, there were BMI requirements that I had to meet, so I had some weight to lose ahead of that. And then COVID hit, which kind of slowed things down a little and made a mess of things. And then we got accepted and then we had to actually wait for them to find donor sperm that was a match, which took a little time.
Yeah, they asked us what our preferences were, and we went with Asian first and then Swedish.
Yeah. But they tried to make every effort to find the Asian first. So that took a while. And then we started IUI, and our first was, I don't know if I'd call it successful, but we had a chemical pregnancy. So we lost that one. And then the second one, just nothing happened. It didn't work at all. And then we had the option of moving forward to IVF or doing like a couple more IUIs before like the system like made us go back to the private system. So now we're about to start our first IVF.
Yeah, there was a bit of a wait time for the IVF, so we've been waiting for 2 months now.
3 months.
3 months, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the reason why we're doing public versus private first is that the public sector has a lower age, and a lower age restriction.
Yeah, and a lower age restriction. So I'm going to be 40 in a couple months, and once I'm 40, I'm going to be cut off. So I can do it up until I'm 45 in the private system, I think.
Yeah.
There's weird rules.
40, I think it's you can take out eggs until you're 42, but put them in until you're 45.
Yeah. Hopefully we won't be going that long. And
yeah, we are, because we're getting multiple kids.
That's up for debate.
No.
Anyways. And yeah, so that's about how long we've been trying, a little bit of our fertility journey there.
Yeah. And maybe we should mention that in the past, your miscarriages,
they are unexplained. So there's no like, the doctors have done numerous tests, and they have found no cause for them. The partner I was with at the time, it was a heterosexual relationship, and
we're still a heterosexual relationship.
Yes, we are. But you know what I mean. He was able to produce his own sperm.
He was a cis guy.
Okay, that's a good, that's what I meant. Sorry. I'm still messing up as a partner sometimes. Thank you for helping me. He was a cis guy, and he never got his sperm tested. So, I mean, it could have been on him. We don't know. So, there's that.
This time it's definitely on me.
Shut up. Okay, so the last question we have is, what do you two find the most challenging about going through fertility treatments, either as a trans couple or just in general? I think we're going to agree on this one. You go first.
Okay. I don't think it's particularly trans related. I think every couple going through IVF and IUI right now are having the same issue due to COVID. But it's mostly that it's only the person who's getting pregnant who can come to appointments. So it's a little, I feel a little left out.
Yeah.
But I think that I don't know how different it would be, but I do feel like that would be a difference if I was the sperm donor, or like if we were a heterosexual cis couple, because then
you're still contributing something.
Yeah, it would be my sperm, your egg, and now it's your egg and the donor sperm, and I'm not there for anything. I'm not allowed to be in when they take eggs out or when they put the eggs back in.
Yeah.
And I'm not allowed to be there if there's an ultrasound and stuff like that.
Yeah. I hope by that time, if there are pregnancy ultrasounds, they'll make an exception, or COVID will, maybe more people will be vaccinated by then, so it might be different. But especially because I'm going to be really anxious at that first ultrasound because of my history of past losses. It's going to be really hard for me to get any bad news alone or with Ryan just over the phone. I really want him there with me. And I feel like in America, you're more likely to run into a doctor that's like willing to bend the rules a little bit in some cases. In Sweden, people are like, no, this is the rule. There's no cases where it's bent. I mean, I guess it's like good and bad, but...
You always think we're all following the rules all the time.
Yeah, you guys are very by the book. There's no gray area. It's this rule states this. This is exactly...
That's not true. Mm-hmm. I don't agree.
Okay. But yeah, I'd say I agree. That is one of the biggest challenges. I feel like I wish he would be able to come to appointments with me and be part of the process more.
Yeah. It would be the first time I would be at an ultrasound at all. Like,
yeah.
So that kind of sucks to miss your... If it is successful, which we hope, then it would suck to miss like my first kid's ultrasound.
Yeah. So that's a big challenge. Hopefully over the next couple of months into the new year, that'll hopefully be resolved now that vaccinations are coming out.
But at least I get to do the shots.
Yeah, I mean, I have a really hard time giving myself the shot. So when we upload the actual footage of our IVF process, the shots are probably going to be starting in like less than a week.
Good thing we have a pretty small apartment, so I don't have to chase you around too far.
Too far. I can run outside though.
It's too snowy and nice.
I'll slip and fall.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would say those are the challenges we face. Thank you for sending in your questions. We really enjoyed making this video for you. We would be more than happy to make more videos answering questions you have. So if you do have any, feel free to leave your questions in the comment field below or send an email to me and let me know. My email address is in the information below as well. So yeah, thank you guys. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We'll have more videos coming up for you and we'll be documenting our journey through IVF.